Picture this. A vendor pushes a routine firmware update at 3 p.m., midweek. 10 minutes later, the HVAC controller reboots. Access doors fail to authenticate on a few floors, and the front desk is fielding calls. For an hour, no one can point to a single coordinated decision that allowed the change. That handful of minutes cost productivity, trust, and a decent chunk of headaches. Today, we're talking about how to stop those minutes from becoming a crisis.
I've seen that exact scene more times than I care to count.
Right.
From an operational standpoint, the first question is always, what breaks if this goes down? Tenants feel this immediately, and yet the teams that approve the change are often everyone but the people who answer the phones when it fails.
Exactly. You don't need a complex boardroom process to fix it. Reliability starts with disciplined maintenance and a few simple signals. Who's changing what, when, and what the rollback looks like.
If you can't answer those 3 questions in under 5 minutes, you're asking for trouble. So, let's unpack why these changes go sideways. Michael, what are the usual root causes you see on commercial properties?
Silos. Plain and simple.
Wait, say more about that.
Facilities have one vendor relationship for BAS. IT has another for switches and Wi-Fi. Tenants bring their own contractors, and vendors schedule updates against their own calendars. Add in weak documentation, and you have parallel change cascades that never meet. The failure mode is predictable: overlapping work, assumptions about network segmentation, and no single escalation path when something goes sideways.
Vendors aren't trying to be malicious. This is workflow. They see a patch, apply it, and close the ticket. But the BAS controller might be tied to an access controller on the same VLAN, and nobody checked that overlap.
Right. What looks isolated on paper can be a shared dependency in practice.
Preventive maintenance beats emergency repairs every time. Treat every change like a mini maintenance window, and you reduce surprises.
That tension, speed versus safety, is exactly where teams trip up. Facility folks want to move fast. IT wants freezes and testing. How do we balance acceptable risk without burying teams in approvals?
I'm not sure I buy the idea that IT always slows things. Sometimes they're the ones pushing for rollback.
I get that, but the problem I see is unclear thresholds. Teams disagree on what counts as safe.
So, thresholds, not committees. What does that look like in practice?
Tiered ownership. Low-risk updates, non-disruptive telemetry tweaks, can be owned by operations with a brief checklist. Anything touching authentication, routing, or emergency systems needs joint sign-off from IT and operations.
And time box those tiers. Tier 1 gets a quick pre-flight and rollback plan in a routine window. Tier 3 gets stage testing and a scheduled outage. Keep the steps minimal so teams actually follow them.
Let's get tactical. What low-effort controls can people implement this week that prevent most outages?
Start with a shared changelog visible to facilities, IT, and tenant services. Not a spreadsheet buried on someone's drive, something everyone checks. Include a one-line summary, schedule time, who's doing it, and a rollback plan reference.
Short, visible, and searchable. That alone prevents several common missteps.
Add a 2-minute pre-flight. Confirm backups. Confirm telemetry baseline. Confirm the person who will execute rollback is available. And confirm the communication channel. If any are missing, pause the change.
Telemetry baselines, how granular should those be?
Pick a small set of health metrics: controller CPU and uptime, authentication success rates, and a few key Bayes sensors. Capture a short baseline right before the change and agree a threshold that triggers rollback.
And if a metric crosses that threshold, you pull the plug?
Yes, roll back immediately. That single rule reduces debate when adrenaline spikes.
One more control, a named escalation path. When something goes wrong, people freeze if they don't know who to call. A single phone line or Slack channel with a clear on-call rota beats hunting through emails at 2 a.m.
Give me a quick example of this in action. What saved the day once?
We had a tenant-requested control tweak that touched ventilation schedules. The vendor applied it during business hours, and sensors started reading unexpected set points 90 minutes after the update. Tenant complaints rose within 30 minutes, and we rolled back in 20.
20 minutes to roll back. That's a win. What about when coordination is missing? What's the downside?
Contrast that with a network refresh scheduled without notifying facilities. Access control servers lost reachability and doors defaulted to fail safe during a busy delivery window. Tenants were stuck and staff had to manually escort people. The fix took hours.
Ouch. So the takeaway is notification plus reversibility. If listeners take away one practical starter plan this week, what are 3 steps fast?
Step 1. Create a visible shared changelog and require entries for any non-trivial update.
Step 2. Adopt a 2-minute pre-flight checklist that includes rollback confirmation.
Step 3. Define a single escalation path with clear on-call responsibilities.
My ad, run a 4-week pilot of those steps, track prevented incidents, and use outcomes to build buy-in. People respond to results more than policy language.
For listeners who want the checklist and the one-page template, we've put both in the episode notes at GDS Technology. Download them, try the 3-step pilot, and tell us what worked and what got in the way. Those signals help us make practical, usable tools, not paperwork.
Final thought. Keep the focus on reversibility. If you can get systems back to where they were quickly, you buy time to diagnose and learn without major disruption.
Trust the process. Keep it simple. And treat every change like a small maintenance job with a rollback plan. The best day in operations is the one nobody notices.
That wraps up this episode of Built, Wired, and Secured. Thanks for spending a few minutes with us.
Built to last. Wired with intention. Secured for the real world.